Today, I'm going to share my experience of being in an abusive relationship. And honestly, prior to this moment, I didn't know if I would ever talk about it as openly as I'm going to. Pixie is eating her kibble in the background. She's so cute. Anyways, I still sometimes find myself like trying to convince myself that I wasn't abusive because I just think, oh, like I never had to go to the ER because I was beat so bad, or like it never got to that point physically. But then I think of like the amount of psychological damage that was done and the ways that it still impacts me today. And I think I can share my experience and leave it at that. You know, people can take relief from what I share, you know, what they will. And I fully accepted that fact. That's just how things work. But my experience of it was the relationship was very rushed. And because of that, like I think it's important to not rush into relationships, which is easier said for me than done. But like really learning, you know, so many pauses. Because part of me wants to say, like, really take the time to be friends with someone, but not just get to know. Like, it's not only important to get to know someone, but allowing yourself to accept the information that you're finding. Like, if you're seeing red flags, or put it back on myself, I have this flaw of like recognizing red flags, identifying them, but not really doing anything with that information. Just kind of being like, oh, that's that person. But that doesn't really serve my best interest or protect me or my, you know, my well-being. If I'm just like, yeah, this person's abusive, but then like not shielding myself from that abuse that person is doing. But okay, I'm just gonna do highlights because I don't know how else to tackle this conversation. And then if you have any questions, you can ask me, and then I might make further videos of that. I just noticed like now I keep having the urge to be like, you know, fuck this video, like I don't want to do it. But it's important to recognize that even if someone's abuse towards you can be explained, like, you know, they've experienced trauma themselves, it doesn't justify it. Like, at the root of domestic violence, like the motivation is power and control. As an individual seeking to gain power and control over another individual, and they might be wanting to do that for a variety of reasons, but at the root of it, that's what they're doing. I'm doing this anyways. And I think that's a tough thing that I've had to accept, that, you know, I don't know if I'm ready to go into full detail of what happened for me. I know I said that in the beginning, but it'll be easier for me to engage more in this conversation if I just focus on how I'm gonna continue to talk about it now. And that it was really hard for me to accept, and still is, that there's a potential that love was never a part of the equation. Because I think with, again, domestic violence, the root of it is power and control, and there's also a thing called the power and control wheel that illustrates all the types of power and control that someone might, like different areas. Like there's financial, like one, like if a person has full control of the finances and doesn't let the other individual have any say in financial decisions that are being done, or expects that person to contribute all their money, but like, again, they don't have any say about how the money is being used. There's physical, which people are more aware of, you know, physically dominating a person. I'm thinking of these off the top of my head. There are a lot more, but you can Google power and control, the power and control wheel, to see them all. But what I'm trying to get at is they're not in a domestic violence situation. One partner is not recognizing the other partner as an equal human. Therefore, love cannot be a part of the equation, because they're seeing the other individual as less than, almost as if they're property. So, I mean, if you can think about it as like, I love, you know, a certain outfit that I have, it's not the same thing as being in love with a human. So that's how I visualize it in my mind to help it make sense. Like, I like how I look in that outfit. I like how that outfit, the perception, how people perceive me while I'm wearing that outfit. I like, all those things. But all of those goes back to how that outfit serves me, and not just my love for the outfit in it of itself. So think of that when it comes to domestic violence situation, like replace the outfit with a person. And now, as I'm having this conversation, I'm like, should I just clip it? You know, should I just redo this video and just focus on that analogy and kind of like stay distant from domestic violence? But it's just not that easy experiencing it, because the day by day, it's, you know, time moves so slow and there's just so much happening, and it's easy, at least for me, when things are getting really bad, to just like dissociate and like not really be fooling in that moment. And then like, that's, you know, when dissociation happens a lot for me throughout my life, and then I slowly sink into a dark place, and then I'm just like, how did I end up here? And it's because there's just things like name calling, there's things like, you know, constantly being belittled and dismissed, and boundaries not being respected, just like erodes away the desire to be present and engaged in my life. And it's, yeah, that's what happens for me. But the hard part of it is it's difficult, and I tweeted this the other day. It's difficult to, it was my own tweet, how do not remember. It's difficult to want to be present in the moment when surrounded by misery. Like, it's difficult to want to be, it's difficult to enjoy the present moment in life when I'm surrounded by misery, like, and there's no escape. And I know people, I would think that people in this who work in social services can identify with this. Like, if you're in a high stress situation, like for me, the clients that I have or have had in the past, that has never really been my source of feeling overwhelmed or being pushed to the breaking point. It's always been the lack of support from either like the establishment that I'm in, mostly like the lack of structural support built in, or just like being surrounded by people professionally and personally that like have no interest in bettering themselves. Like, they are okay with the level of misery that they're experiencing, and they only seek to recruit other members in their lives as they come into contact with them to suffer along with them. A book that I highly recommend is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, I think is his name. I have like 2 chapters left to read. But the 4 agreements are, I might have the second and third one mixed in order, but it's be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally, and do your best. I will make a separate video discussing those 4 main agreements. This video is getting kind of long. Oof. Okay, well, if you have any detailed, pointed questions or even broad questions about what my experience with domestic violence has been, let me know. I think I'd be better answering things like that than I am in just free talking it, just because I haven't really talked about it out loud. Like, I might have mentioned clips here and there, but like, I don't know.